Today's recipe is this mushroom spinach lasagna. I think you're gonna love it. Hi everyone, I'm Tami, the creator of the Nutmeg Notebook blog and YouTube channel, where I share whole food, plant-based, oil-free recipes. I also happen to be very low sodium and sugar-free, but yet my recipes are absolutely delicious and can be enjoyed by everyone. So today I'm going to show you a family favorite, and it's our lasagna. So you can still make an amazing lasagna even if you're whole food plant-based, and I'm going to show you all the components that go into it and just how delicious it can be. So first up, you're going to need marinara sauce, and you're going to need about 48 ounces for this mushroom spinach lasagna. Now I make my own marinara, and when I'm going to make lasagna, I'll go ahead and make a double batch of the marinara, and I'll have a little bit left over. So a double batch will make 3 quarts, and so I have 1 quart left over, but it freezes beautifully, and so then you can put this in the freezer and you'll have it for another meal. Now, if you don't want to make your own marinara, you can look for an oil-free, so low sodium marinara at the store. The only one that I've really seen that is true to being oil-free and low sodium is the Engine 2 brand, and that right now is only sold at Whole Foods Market, and it's pretty expensive, but if you want the convenience of having it already made, that one is available. And if you know of another one, leave a message in the comments and let us know of another brand. Then you're going to need the tofu ricotta. Now this is a spinach tofu ricotta, and I do have a video on how to make this as well. Super easy, and I have a couple variations. The one that I made for today has nuts in it. I use almonds in it because it makes it a little bit creamier and a little bit richer. And you can make it without nuts though if you do not eat nuts. So you'll also need some mushrooms, otherwise it wouldn't be a mushroom spinach lasagna. So this is 8 ounces of fresh baby portobellos that I just chopped up with a couple of cloves of garlic that I minced, and I just water sauteed them in a non-stick skillet until they were nice and cooked. And as you can see, that big pile of 8 ounces of mushrooms was reduced to this. And a little bit of faux parmesan, and this is a faux parmesan sprinkle that I have a recipe for, and I'll link to that as well. And you can use any type of faux parmesan that you want for the top of it, and it just adds that little bit of a cheesy flavor that we all really like and enjoy on lasagna. And then, of course, lasagna noodles. Well, I happen to be gluten-free, and so I have found 2 lasagna noodles that are gluten-free that we like. So this one is by Barilla, and I can find this in most grocery stores. It is not organic, but it is the type of noodle that you don't have to pre-cook, which I really enjoy that. And it works really well for the lasagna, and I like it better than this one. This one is also good, but this one is organic, but it's the more like wavy noodle, and I just don't like how it looks when the finished product is done as well as I like this one. But sometimes Safeway, where I buy this, will be sold out, and I have to go with this one. And this one I do find at Whole Foods Market. So now we're just going to get started, and I'll show you how I layer it. So you also need at least a 9x13 pan that's really deep. This happens to be a lasagna pan, and this one was a Martha Stewart one that I bought at Macy's a few years ago. I also have a 9x13 casserole dish that the lasagna will work in. It just needs to be nice and deep. So I'm gonna put about a cup of my marinara sauce in the bottom of the pan. And I'm using this measuring cup because that helps me know when I've reached a cup. And I just don't want to make a mess all over my counter, so I'll just wipe that off. Then I'm going to use my rubber spatula just to spread this out. We need that sauce in the bottom, one, so that the noodles don't stick, and two, since we're not pre-cooking these no-boil noodles, they are going to absorb some of the sauce, and that is what is going to rehydrate them. So now this is not something that I make all the time. I usually only make this for special occasions, just because, you know, it's a little more processed because of the pasta, and it's a little more high fat because of the tofu ricotta. So I'm dividing the ricotta in half here because I'm going to make 2 layers with the ricotta, and so I'm just dividing it in half, so I'm pretty sure that I spread it out evenly. And then I'm dividing each half into quarters, because I have found the easiest way to deal with the ricotta is to spread it right on my noodles. So I'm going to take, whoops, sorry for the noise. I'm just going to take that 1/4 of the half, or 1/8 of the whole container, for all you math people, and I'm going to just spread it on my lasagna noodles. Oh, and the lasagna noodles, I'm going to use 12 of them. And don't worry, I'm going to provide you with the recipe. There's usually a companion blog post to my videos, so that if there is a recipe, you have an easily printable recipe to go to. And then I'm just going to put this in the pan, and I'm going to center it up because it's going to expand as this bakes, and the noodle is going to get bigger. So here I'm just taking another 1/4, using my little spatula. I'll link to these spatulas too. These silicone spatulas are my absolute favorite. I have them in a wide variety of sizes, and they are my go-to. Tom and I both just use them all the time. I like that they don't have any wood on them. They're one piece. They could go in the dishwasher, but we use them so much that we just hand wash them so that they're always available. Okay, so then I'm just going to slightly overlap that, and that's what you need to do in order to be able to get all 4 of them across the pan. And again, just going to slightly overlap that, and then we'll move on to the next one. This is easy to put together, but this is not a quick recipe. And what I usually do is the day before I'm going to make the lasagna, I will make the components that are going into the lasagna, the tofu ricotta, and I'll go ahead and saute the mushrooms, and I'll make the marinara. And I usually have the Parmesan, the faux Parmesan made and in the fridge, but if I don't, then I'll go ahead and make that as well. And that just makes it easier to put together the day that I'm going to cook it. Now you can assemble this the day before and put it in your refrigerator and then cook it the day that you're going to serve it. Okay, see how easy that is. Now I'm going to take half of these mushrooms, and I'm going to just spread the mushrooms out over the ricotta. If you don't like mushrooms or you don't have mushrooms, you could leave them out. It would be perfectly fine. You could use zucchini if you wanted to. You could use red onion, bell pepper, whatever you like. If there's something that you particularly like in your lasagna, then saute some other kind of vegetable. A little bit of eggplant would be delicious as well. Now, since I'm feeding kids this as well, you know, I'm not loading it up with a ton of vegetables, but there is spinach in that tofu ricotta. And so they just think it's a pretty green. They have no idea that it's delicious spinach. And so now I'm going to put another cup of sauce over the top of this and just spread it out. Because again, we need this for the moisture for that next layer of lasagna noodles to absorb. You know, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It'll all come together in the end. Okay, it's looking good. Okay, so now this other half of the ricotta, I'm just going to score it so I can try to divide it up pretty evenly. So again, we just spread it out on the noodles. And if you get a box that happens to have some broken noodles in it, go ahead and use them. It'll be fine. It's going to cook up just fine. And again, I'm just going to stack them up. We're just going to do this until we get all of the noodles covered and get them layered in. So I have the second layer of noodles with the ricotta spread on them. And I'm going to go ahead and add the mushrooms. So you see it, once you have all the components made, it really goes together quickly. But I do like to have everything made the day before. And when I make this for the family, I actually make 2 of them because everybody loves it and they want to have seconds. So I have found that I have to make 2 of them. And that way we have a little bit left over usually too, which is nice. So now we're going to put another cup of sauce over the top. I had just a little more than 48 ounces measured out. So let's spread that out nice. Okay. Then the last layer does not have any ricotta on it. We're just putting it across the top like that. I just like to push it down a little bit, make sure it's in that sauce, and then just pour remaining sauce over the top. And it's going to soak it up because remember, we're not pre-cooking those noodles. Then I'm just going to cover this. I'm going to spread this out a bit. And it's going to expand as it cooks. Those noodles are going to expand and fill the pan. So then we're just going to cover the pan with some foil and put it in the preheated 375-degree oven. This is going to help keep everything moist, and it's going to help cook those noodles. So this will go in the oven for about 50 minutes. I'm going to check it at 50 minutes, and if it looks like the noodles have really cooked up good, then I'll take the foil off, and that's when I'll sprinkle some of the faux parmesan on top and then put it back in for another 10 minutes. So I'll see you back here when it's done. Okay, you guys, it's been an hour and the lasagna is done. It smells absolutely amazing. So at 50 minutes, I pulled it out, took the foil off, and it looked like everything was cooking really well. And so then I just sprinkled some of my faux parmesan over the top. I don't measure it. I just, take a spoon and just sprinkle it over until it looks like I have enough. And it's absolutely perfect. So super excited. I'm going to be sharing this with the family, and I know that they're going to love it because it's one of the most requested meals I am asked for. I hope that you will try it, and I'll put all the links to all of the recipes down below the show notes. So click on the See More and you'll find all of the links there so you can make this recipe. And you know the drill. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell. Go over to Nutmeg Notebook and subscribe while you're there printing off the recipes, and you'll get 2 exclusive recipes that are just for subscribers. So thank you so much for joining me today. And I'm Tami, and I help you get healthy and stay healthy one meal at a time.